What up guys, how are you guys doing? I'm Thales and we're back with another how to slice. In today's how to slice video, we're going to be checking out some awesome articulated sea animals. So let's go to the video. So this is Lexi, the electric ray. As you can see, this is a really nice model to print, and in this video we're going to be checking out the best print settings to print it. So let's go. So as you can see, this is a really nice model. We got right here a beautiful mesh designed by our modelers, and it looks fantastic. This part is articulated and this is a really clever mesh. So let's go to the print settings. Over here in print settings in layer height, we're going to be decreasing this value to 0.16 millimeters. This way we're going to get a better quality print. And make sure that the first layer height is that too is at 0.16 millimeters, so you can get a better quality print. And remember, the first layer is the most important layer. So we're going to be talking about that in the future of this video, but make sure you got a good first layer on your print. But we're going to be talking that further in the video. For vertical shells, we're going to be leaving at 3, so we can get a really rigid model, so the model doesn't break while we're playing with it. So it's really rigid and solid. Let's go to the infill. So right here in infill, we're going to be increasing the fill density so we can get a really dense model. And as I said, it's going to help with the strength of our model. And we're going to print at a fill pattern of gyroid. Gyroids are really nice in fill pattern because it prints in waves, so your printer never goes on a straight line. This reduces the chances of your print failing while printing the infill, so this is fantastic. Going to skirt and brim, we're not going to be adding brim for this model, but let me show you something. So this model, a big issue it is with bed adhesion. So as you can see, this mesh consists of tiny parts, so the chances of it unsticking from the build plate is quite high. So you tend to add brim to, in this case, to small parts, so they increase the surface area. But if we add brim to this model, it's going to ruin all of the effect. You're not going to be able to remove all of the brim. So what we can do to increase the bed adhesion without adding any brim, first off, is to always clean your build plate. So sometimes there is dust and oils from your finger on top of the build plate. So make sure before you print, always clean your build plate with some isopropyl alcohol or detergent so you can get a good bed adhesion, and the filament is going to glue and stick to your build plate so you can get a perfect bed adhesion. To help with our print, we're going to be in the future reducing a little bit of the speed. So we're going to be printing slower so we can make sure that the mesh is going to be well printed, so it's not going to unstick or fall off our build plate. So we're going to make sure it prints well and really nicely. What you can do to increase the bed adhesion too is add a fine layer of glue stick or any type of adhesion, external adhesion, to help with our print. So this is a good option to help the model to stick to the build plate without adding any brim. And always make sure that your printer is well calibrated, because if it doesn't have a good leveling, so it's unbalanced and unleveled, it's going to impact with the bed adhesion. Because if your extruder is too high off from the build plate, you're going to be dropping filament from a tall distance and is not going to create a good layer. So make sure you got a really good and balanced and well calibrated 3D printer. So let's go to the back to the print settings. So we're not going to be adding brim, and we're not going to be adding support because this model is optimized for printing. But on speed, we're going to be making sure that our first layer speed is at around 15 millimeters a second. On Bamboo Lab printers, the first layer is at around 60 millimeters a second. I would recommend reducing this value. And for all of the So I would recommend on Bamboo Lab printers printing at 50 percent of the speed. This is going to help a lot. Printing slowly is going to make sure you got a good print. You do not have to rush with some articulated models, especially this ones. So print really slowly at around 50, actually half of the speed that the Bamboo Lab usually prints. On other printers like this one, this is the NLT V3SE, it is a quite slower printer, so you do not have to reduce too much of the values, but on small perimeters, so always recommended to reduce a little bit. So I'm going to be reducing to 50 millimeters a second, right here to around 80, just to make sure we got a good print. I always recommend printing slower one time than have to print fast 3 times and failing multiple prints. So always recommend printing slowly. You do not have to print fast. So this is perfect. Right here it's ready to print. We have slowed, we have reduced the speed right here. So the first layer is the most important layer, as I said, because all of the other layers are going to go on top of this one. So this is, if it's not well printed, the other one is not going to be well printed, and so on and so forth. So make sure you got a good print. So all of the values are changed and we're ready to slice. So as you can see, we have sliced and it looks quite nice. It's going to take 1 day and 6 hours to print. It's going to depend on the printer you have. And as you can see, it looks fantastic. It's going to print at a 10% infill. As you can see, it's going to go up a 10% gyroid infill. If we go to speed, you'll see that it's going to vary the speed. So right here is going to print at 45 millimeters a second for the small perimeters, and the big ones are going to print at around 70 millimeters a second. So this is fantastic to get a good quality print. So grab a really nice filament that you have laying around and print this model. So the models are ready to print. Make sure to check out stlflix.com for more models like this one, and I'll see you in another one.
I hope you guys enjoy it. Those slicing videos are an initiative from STL Academy, which is the educational project from STL Flix. So if you guys want to learn more about 3D printing, you could check our description and look at STL Academy courses. And don't forget, see you guys at the next slicing.